agad. Ano po? So, regarding your activity, ano po yung activity ninyo na video, ang pasahan po noon ay hanggang bukas ng umaga. So, ano po ang gagawin ninyo? Nandito ba si Ira at si Julian? Okay, si Miss, okay. Ganito, gawa na lang kayo ng Google Drive using your personal Gmail. Ano po? Google Drive using your personal Gmail or your G Suite para hindi po ma-accommodate yung storage ng ating G Suite account. Kaya po ang gagamitin nyo yung personal email ninyo na kukuha sa gagamitan ni Ira at ni Julian. Okay? Tapos, yung mga mag-upload po is any of the members, isang membro na lang po ng bawat grupo ang mag-upload ng video nila dun sa Google Drive link po na isi-send ni Miss Kasi Serrano at ni Miss Guevara. Tapos, isi-send na lang po sa akin ni Julien, at ni Ira yung link para po doon ko po siya mapapanood. And then, regarding po sa presentation on, kailan natin siya i-flash screen, hindi ko kasi sure kung may klase ng Sabado. Okay? Kasi parang may announcement nung una, ito po ay initial announcement from the College of Health and Sciences, sa CHS galing, sa Dean ng CHS, na since wala daw po kasing kuryente, ay ang gagawin po ay asynchronous ang klase. So, ibig sabihin, hindi kami pwedeng mag-conduct ng synchronous class. So, magbibigay lang kayo, for example, ng certain activity, and then that's what you have to do during our time na nakaschedule po sa subject natin. Naiintindihan? Okay, sa Sabado. Pero I will be updating you regarding that matter. Ano po, i-update ko kayo kung ano bang mangyayari, kung tuloy ba yung asynchronous session na yun or hindi. Pero if ever natuloy po ang asynchronous session na yun, ay hindi ko na kayo bibigyan ng activity. Okay? I will not be giving you an activity, but then I will be allotting the time for you to edit your proposal. Okay? I-edit na yung proposal ninyo para by next meeting po maayos na natin yung mga dapat ayusin, especially for those group na still tentative ang mga topic na nakapaskil doon sa Google Sheet. Nagkakaintindihan po. Malinaw tayo. Ibig sabihin, wala akong binigay na another activity pero you have to revisit your existing activity. At ano yung activity na yun? Yung edited or yung revised version ng topic proposal ninyo. Okay? Again, for the edited version of the topic proposal, mag-add po kayo ng tab. Familiar kayo dun sa tab. Dun sa Google Docs na meron tayo. Mag-add lang kayo ng tab per group, tapos paltan nyo lang po yung pangalan. Ang ilagay po dun sa pangalan ng tab na yun ay revised topic proposal na kukuha. Naiintindihan? Okay. Sir, tomorrow may klase po tayo. Yes po, may klase tomorrow. So, that's for 7 to 9 for O1 and then 9 to 11 for O2. Pero i-merge ko na lang po ulit ang dalawang section. Naintindihan, since online naman po siya, merge na lang po ulit tayo and then I think we could start by 8, I think 8 a.m. would do, 8 to 11. Nakukuha po. Okay, merge class na lang. Kasi parang medyo mahaba-haba din po yun kasi different type siya ng design. Hindi lang siya between at within. I-discuss po natin even yung mga factorial designs. Yan. Meron tayong mga ganong discussion na gagawin. Yes, Ira?
Reporting po kami ng 11 a.m. po. If okay lang po sana ay mas maaga na lang po para po hindi po sana ma-compromise po yung next class po namin.
Wait, anong oras? May reporting kayo ng 11?
Opo.
Sige,
11
7 to 10 tayo. 7 to 10. Is that fine with the class? Okay, 7 to 10, O1 and O2. Okay, para ma-utilize po natin ng mabuti yung time. Para matapos ko na din po until chapter 7 ang discussion. Kakaintindihan. Nakukuha po ang gagawin. Okay, nakukuha. Okay, sige. Pero halimbawa, hindi matuloy yung asynchronous, like pwede tayong magklase, di ang gagawin ko po ay possibly on magkabaliktad ng mangyayari. Friday, ipepresent natin yung mga videos ninyo, and then Saturday, doon ko po gagawin ang discussion ng chapter 7. Nakukuha. Kung hindi itutuloy yung asynchronous na announcement ng university. Kasi as of now, ang sinabi po sa amin ay antabay lang daw po sa updated announcement. Okay? Nakukuha? Okay. So last time, ang discuss po natin has something to do with basics to experimentation. Okay, kung natatandaan ninyo, we started with um, the dependent and independent variable. Malinaw naman na sa inyo kung anong tinatawag natin na DV, na IV, how you should operationalize the definition. Okay, we have the experimental and the measured definition. Okay, especially for experimental research, kailan po ginagamit sa experimental definition, kailan si measured definition, ano ang focus ng dalawa because magkaiba po ang kanilang structure. Si experimental definition, it's more of the definition on how you would manipulate the IV, while the measured definition is more of how you would measure the outcome or the dependent variable. Okay? Then we also discussed the different types of validity and reliability. Malinaw po ba tayo sa reliability and validity? Okay, reliability is the consistency, validity is the accuracy. So, may iba't iba din siyang type na na-discuss natin. But then for experimental research, we focus more of with the so-called internal and external validity. Okay? Natatandaan si internal and external validity at yung mga threats po sa kanila. So, ang basic idea lang naman dyan, for internal validity, this is something to do with antecedent and behavior. So, ibig sabihin, this is what makes us more confident in attributing the change to the DV, okay, is because of how we manipulate the IV. Nakukuha po. Ibig sabihin, doon lumalakas yung ating argument na ang dahilan between the causation or the cause and effect relationship between the antecedent and the behavior is the antecedent itself. At nangyayari yon if you are able to control the different confounding variables. Tama? Okay. Malinaw tayo doon? Okay. Meanwhile, pag sinabi naman natin external validity, this has something to do with generalizability. Pag sinabi po natin generalizability, thus it applies to the larger population. Okay, meron tayong population validity. Yun po yung, does the result applies to the larger population? Meron tayong tinatawag na ecological validity, wherein sa ecological validity naman, does it applies with the real life setting? Considering that when you're doing experimental research, you are actually doing it in a controlled condition, mostly laboratory setup. And then the last one is temporal validity. Thus, the result applies across different periods of time. Nakukuha for that short recap ng mga diniscuss natin last meeting. Okay, now let's go with controlling extraneous variables. Na-mention ko naman na sa inyo last time that extraneous variables, these are variables that are not part of the study. Okay, variables that are not part of the study, and then it can become confounding if these extraneous variables already affect the result of your experiment. Nakukuha po ang meaning ng Sir Joshua doon. Kaya ang pinagkaiba ni extraneous at ni confounding variables. Pag sinabing extraneous, lahat ng variables na hindi bahagi ng experiment. Magiging confounding siya if the exchanges variable, okay, already affects, okay, already influence or already impacts, okay, the result of your experiment. Okay, and therefore, when these exchanges variable are not controlled, it would be a great threat to your internal validity. Nakukuha. Chapter 6. Okay, nagigets ba ang chapter 6? Okay. So, ano yung objective natin? So, realize the importance of reliability and validity of experiments. Recognize the problems caused by extraneous variables and confounding, identify the common extraneous variables in experimental study, understand ways of controlling extraneous variables in experiment, and number 5, understand how to control for special problems created by the experimental context. Okay? So, regarding this objective, bakit ba kailangan nating kontrolin ang ating mga experimental research? Okay? Simple lang po. Okay? Because in experimental psychology, the goal is very straightforward. Okay? You want to see if the IV, okay, really causes the change in the dependent variable. Okay? So, when I ask you that question, bakit pinakamahalagang makontrol? Okay? Lahat ng extraneous variable, simple lang. Because of causation. Okay? Because of causation. Halimbawa, your independent variable is the type of music while studying. And then your dependent variable is the memory performance. In real life, we have to consider that there are many other factors that could influence the result. Not just the um not just the type of music na ginagamit ng isang estudyante kapag siya ay nag-aaral. Okay? Pwede dyan ang physical variable. Like for example, saan ba siya nag-aaral? That could be a potential extraneous and confounding variable. Pwedeng halimbawa yung inherent characteristic and inherent preference niya when it comes to music, that's a potential confounding variable. Okay? So, knowing those kind of exchange variable, we can actually ensure how to be able to address or how to be able to control such matter. Okay, so yun yung ituturo dito. Okay, tuturuan dito kayo kung paano ba ang paraan para ma-address ang mga extraneous variables po na yun. Okay, so let's have this one. This is a situation, okay? So, poor Emily was trying to run a memory experiment that required a lot of concentration on Thursday. Her first day of testing, Emily recruited subjects in the library and tested them in a quiet reading room. The next day, she came back to run the rest of the experiment. To her dismay, Emily found that the reading room closed early on Fridays. The only place she could test her subject was the building's lobby. It was a fairly quiet it was fairly quiet there, but people walked by now and then, laughing and talking about plans for the weekend. Okay? From that particular situation, what are the possible confounding variable na pwede nyo pong ma-encounter? Sige nga, anyone from the class? Okay, from that situation, anong mga posible na maging dahilan ng inyong confound? Noise, yes. Kasi sir, lagi dun daw po sa lobby, may dumadaan po basta-basta. Nagtatawanan, nagpaplano kung saan sila maggagala kasi asynchronous po sa Sabado. Halimbawa, ayan, distraction, yes, that's also possible. Ano pa? The change of environment. Okay? If you're gonna look at this, okay, this particular example, okay, reflects the first main type of extraneous variable. Ano yun? Okay, these are the tangible variables that these are the possible tangible variables that you could encounter, okay, na pwede nyong makasalamuha upon doing the experiment. At ano po yung mga tangible variable na yun? Ano ang tawag doon? That is called the physical variables. Malinaw po tayo doon. Noise, destruction, the lighting, halimbawa dun sa room na ginamit, the temperature, the testing room, gaya ng sabi ni Ms. Reyes kanina, yung change of environment, okay? The time of the day. Nakita nyo dyan, ang sinabi po dyan ay Thursday niya ginawa, tapos maya-maya nung Friday, nalaman niya pala na maagang nagko-close ang library. Okay, that's a physical variable. Okay, the equipment used, the seating arrangement, everything that is tangible. Okay, when you're doing the experiment, that's part of physical variables na kukuha. Okay, this refers to the physical conditions of the experiment environment. Nakukuha po kung ano ang physical variable. Okay. Now, how to address physical variables? Okay, paano ba natin, sir, ma-address itong physical variables na ito? Okay, may tatlo pong major techniques na pwede kayong gawin. Okay, when you think that the physical environment is something that would threaten the internal validity of your experiment. So the first one is yung tinatawag nating elimination. Okay, ano ba pag sinabi natin elimination? Sige nga, ano pag sinabi natin elimination in layman's term? Okay, anong nangyayari pag ine-eliminate? Yes, Jillian.
Ano po sir? Ang elimination po ay para po sa pagbabawas po or pagtanggal po ng mga variable.
Okay, pagbawas or pagtanggal. Actually, the right word is actually to remove. Okay, para tanggalin. So, ibig sabihin po, when we say elimination, it means you are removing the extraneous variable completely. Nakukuha. Okay? Literal na inaalis ninyo yung extraneous variable po na iyon. Sabi nga dyan, to make sure that an extraneous variable does not affect an experiment, sometimes we just take it out. We eliminate it. So if noise might confound the results, saan ka magtitest? Kung sa tingin mo, ang ingay pala dun sa hallway na yon ay possible na mag-cause ng extraneous variable, okay? Gagawin mo yung experiment in a quiet location, in a soundproof location, or in a soundproof room, for example. Okay? O kaya naman, maghahang ka ng saying, do not disturb, experiment in progress. Okay? Nakukuha po, total removal of other variables aside from your independent variable. Nakukuha. Okay, that's the ideal one. Okay, it's too ideal. Okay, bakit siya sir masasabing too ideal? Okay, it's easy to say, but it's hard to execute. Okay, it's easy to say, but it's hard to execute kasi nga kahit nga maglagay ka dyan ng do not disturb, okay, experiment in progress na sign, okay, there are still people who would still commit noises, for example. Okay, so ibig sabihin po nito, there are times that elimination is not always possible. Okay? Elimination is not always possible. Sabi nga dyan sa example po dyan, ideally, we would like to eliminate all extraneous variables from an experiment. But this is easier said than done. Sometimes, there is no quiet location. There are factors such as the weather, the lighting, the paint on the walls. Those are simply there. Okay? You cannot eliminate them. Instead, pwede po tayong gumamit ng iba pang way to actually control this kind of variables. Kasi nga, may mga variables na nandoon na. Okay? Like sabi ko sa inyo kanina, the time of the day, the weather condition, that's part of physical variables. Hindi mo naman pwedeng tanggalin yon kapag nag-experiment ka. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, kailangan kong tanggalin ngayon ng ulan na paparating. How could you do that? Okay? Kailangan kasi neutral ang room ng kwarto. Kailangan itong kulay pink na room gawin kong kulay white, for example. Magpapapintura muna kami bago namin gawin ang experiment namin. Okay? It's ideal, it's also time-consuming. Okay? Therefore, if elimination is not possible or if eliminating those extraneous variable is not possible, you proceed with a second procedure. Ano yun? Yung tinatawag pong constancy of conditions. Okay, ano pag sinabi natin constancy of condition? Simple lang po. Pag sinabing constant, okay? It only means that you have to keep the environment the same for all your participants. Okay, malinaw po tayo doon. You keep it the same for all the participants. Kung ang iyong Group A ay nag-test sa isang room na ang kulay ng pintura ay kulay pink, okay, you also make sure na ang Group B mo ay doon din po magte-take ng inyong experiment. Nakukuha. Nagigets po ang constancy of condition. Okay? Kasi ang pinopoint po dito, instead of removing the variable, you make sure that everyone experiences the same condition. Parehas ng kondisyon na nararanasan. Like for example, sa ating PTR. Di ba sa PTR may 3 aircon or may 2 gumaganang aircon? Okay? Halimbawa, ang gusto mong pag-aralan doon is the effects of music on your test score. So, yun yung IV at yun yung DV mo. Ngayon, kailangan po yung pinaka-temperature ng aircon constant. Ibig sabihin po, kung yan po ay nakaset ng 18, okay, doon sa iyong treatment group, kailangan naka-18 din siya doon sa control group. Kung nakaset yan ng 18 sa treatment A, sa treatment B, treatment C, siya po ay nakaset din ng 18. Okay? Kung halimbawa ang light ay 2 lang ang pinaandar mo, kailangan ganun din po. Okay? Across every group na meron ka sa experiment mo. Nakukuha. Naiintindihan po ang constancy, okay, ng condition. Okay? Ibig sabihin po, this ensures that your participant receives identical instruction. Okay? Identical instruction, identical condition, and the only difference that you are manipulating is just the level of your independent variable. Nakukuha po ang constancy of condition. Okay, gets? Naintindihan? Okay. Okay, so sometimes, okay, may mga oras din po na hindi kayang gawing constant or mahirap gawin ng constancy. Okay, mahirap din gawin yung elimination. Okay? So, kasi nga, perhaps there are variables that cannot be eliminated. Sabi po sa example dyan, you would like to test in a quiet room, but you do not have access to one. Okay? So, you would like to test all subjects together at the same time, but they cannot all come at once. So, ano daw ang pwede nyong gawin sa situation na to? So, yun pong tinatawag natin na balancing. Okay? Sabi po dito, confounding occurs when something in the experiment changes systematically along with the independent variable. If we cannot eliminate extraneous physical variables or keep them constant throughout an experiment, we can still make sure that they do not confound the result. The key to the problem is the way the variable changes. If they change in a way that is systematically linked to the levels of the independent variable, we are in trouble because a confound is present. So, sir, anong ibig sabihin ng variable na yan? Okay, ano pong ibig sabihin ng variable na yan? Pag sinabi nating balancing, this means distributing the extraneous variable evenly across treatment groups. Okay? Sir, paano distributing the extraneous variable evenly? So, okay lang sir na may extraneous variable. Basta, parehas na level ang naranasan ng bawat grupo ng condition ninyo. Halimbawa, meron kayong 2 treatment condition. Okay? Meron kayong quiet group. Meron kayong 2 room actually. Meron 2 rooms na available na pwede mong gawin yung experiment. Okay? Yung room A, yun yung tahimik. Yun yung soundproof na room. Yung room B, yun po yung medyo maingay at dinig ang sounds na nanggagaling mula sa labas. Ngayon, sir, paano namin gagawin ang balancing? Kasi halimbawa, yung treatment A ninyo, okay, nasa room A. Okay? Yung treatment A ninyo, nasa room A. Yung treatment B ninyo, nasa room B. May confounding agad doon. Bakit? Kasi nga, yung room A, tahimik, yung room B, hindi tahimik. Okay? Kumbaga, naririnig yung sound sa labas. Paano mo po gagawin ang balancing? Pwedeng ang gawin mo sa room A, randomly, meron kang 10 participant na ang tinitake na treatment ay treatment A. Okay? At randomly also, meron ka ding 10 participant na ang tinitake ay treatment B. Nakukuha. Tapos dun sa room B, okay, meron ka din dong 10 participant from treatment A at meron ka ding 10 participant from treatment B. Okay? Ibig sabihin, both group na experience nila yung room na sobrang tahimik at yung isa na medyo nadidinig yung sound. Okay? Therefore, pwede mo na ngayong i-cancel out sa equation, tanggalin sa equation yung effect ng room. Okay? Effect ng pagiging soundproof ng room na meron. Nakukuha. Naiintindihan po. Nagkakaintindihan tayo with balancing. Hello. Okay? Evenly distributing the extraneous variables. Naiintindihan. Si balancing. Okay. Next one, social variables. Kung kanina, physical variables, okay, kung kanina po ay social variable, kung kanina po ay physical variables, ngayon naman po ay social variables. Sabi po dyan, besides controlling physical variables that may alter the outcome of the experiment, the researchers are concerned about social variables. These are qualities of the relationship between the subjects and experimenters that can influence results. Two principal social variables, demand characteristic and experimenter bias, can be controlled through single and double-blind experiments. So, anong ibig sabihin ng social variables? Okay? There are times that your interaction between your subject and between the experimenter can be a potential confounding variable already. Naiintindihan po, if it's the interaction between the people you are working with and the people that is administering the experiment, that could be a possible social confounding or social extraneous variables. Naiintindihan po. At may dalawa po itong type, yung tinatawag natin na demand characteristic and experimenter bias. Okay? So, ano itong demand characteristic? Siguro naririnig nyo to sa akin. Tama, nadidinig nyo to sa akin kapag nagpo-propose kayo. Okay? There are times that I'm using actually the term social desirability. Okay? Naririnig nyo yung social desirability na parang the participant is behaving, okay, kung paano yung sa tingin nilang dinedemand ng study ninyo. Okay, sabi po dito, demand characteristic are clues in a situation, especially an experiment, that make people act the way they think they are supposed to act. So, ibig sabihin, halimbawa, parang nagkaroon ng idea itong si participant ninyo kung paano sila dapat mag-behave sa experiment ninyo. Kaya, ang downside lagi kapag ang pinopropose ninyo ay conformity. Okay, tama itong kina-Ira nun, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, itong standing room experiment, okay? Kapag naintindihan nila or nalaman nila na ang nire-require or ang dinedemand ng experiment ninyo ay ang mag-conform sila sa ginagawa kay ng mga confederates ninyo, okay? That could be a demand characteristic, okay? They are behaving based on what they think they are supposed to be doing. Okay? Kasi ang nangyayari dito, na-figure out nila. Yes, nagiging peke ang movement or ang behavior nila. Okay? And pwede silang, may dalawang pwedeng mangyari dito. Okay? Pwedeng ibigay nila yung behavior na ina-expect ninyo. Okay? Therefore, you would see there is already a significant effect kapag nakakita kayo ng result. May significant effect. Bakit? Kasi parang pineke nila yung behavior nila. Or pwede rin naman, wala kayong makitang effect. Bakit? Kasi they go against, okay, doon sa ine-expect na behavior ng study ninyo. Nakukuha. Parang ang idea, they could play with your experiment, okay? Or pwede naman, they could go against your experiment. Simply because they are able to figure out what you are doing and what's the purpose of your study. Okay? Kasi once they guess it, it could change their behavior. Sabi nga dyan, people who take part in research study may try to act the way they think a good participant should act. This is social desirability. They may change their behavior to match what they believe the researcher wants, even if they don't realize they are doing it. Naiintindihan? Nagkakaintindihan po tayo. Okay. That is demand characteristic. Okay? Now, paano po natin makokontrol ang tinatawag na demand characteristic? Okay? So, meron po tayong tinatawag na single blind experiment. So, basahin ko lang po yung nasa slide. Sabi po dyan, when we run experiments, we try not to give participant clues about what may happen to them when they are exposed to the independent variable. We do not want to influence the outcome of the experiment by having subjects know the hypothesis. A good way to control some effects of demand characteristic is through a single blind experiment. An experiment in which subjects do not know which treatment they are getting. When we do a single blind experiment, we can disclose some but not all information about the experiment to subjects. We can disclose what is going to happen to them in the experiment. We can also keep them fully informed about the purpose of the study. But we keep them blind, okay, to one thing. Okay? Hindi nyo po sinasabi sa kanila kung anong experimental condition ang nararanasan nila. Example, they might not know whether they're getting the real treatment or a comparison version. Keeping them blind to this help participants or helps prevent them, okay, from their expectations, from changing how they act, which helps the results stay more accurate. Ito lang po ang pinopoint ng idea niya. Pag sinabi natin single blind experiment, okay, your participants do not know which treatment they are receiving. Okay, ibig sabihin, you randomly assign them to one specific group and then hindi nila malalaman kung anong condition ang nararanasan nila. Naiintindihan po? Nagkakaintindihan tayo doon. Halimbawa, you're testing the effectiveness of a certain drug, ano po. So, pwedeng nare-receive talaga nila yung real drug or real medication, okay? O kaya naman, yung nare-receive lang nila na drug ay for placebo effect. Kumbaga, ang tinetest lang doon is whether they are actually, kumbaga parang may priming lang na nangyayari. So, wala silang idea. Okay? So, ibig sabihin po nun, maiiwasan natin yung change ng behavior nila based sa expectations ninyo. Okay? So, hindi naman ibig sabihin nito, it's a violation with the informed consent. Baka kasi yun ang itanong nyo sa akin, tama? Okay? Baka yun ang itanong nyo sa akin na, baka, sir, it's a violation with the informed consent kasi kailangan namin i-dispense lahat, kailangan namin i-disclose lahat. Tama po? Okay? Pwede nyo naman din i-disclose lahat. Okay? I-disclose yung anong mangyayari sa experiment, ano yung purpose ng study, pero hindi nila alam, okay, saang level sila ng condition ninyo na punta. Nakukuha. Single blind experiment. Nagigets? Okay. Another one, ito yung isa sa common na pinapagawa natin sa inyo. Okay? When you're doing cover stories, sabi dyan, there is another alternative for controlling the possibility that subjects may guess the experimental hypothesis. We could use a cover story. When we create an experimental situation, we want subject to respond as normally as possible. At the very least, we do not want their expectations to alter the response on a dependent measure. Sometimes, the best control over demand characteristic is gained by using a cover story, okay, which is a plausible but false explanation for the procedures used in the study. It is told to disguise the actual research hypothesis so that subjects will not guess what it is. Just like what I've mentioned a while ago, okay, demand characteristic happens because they figure out what's the purpose or what's the hypothesis that you are testing. Ngayon, kailangan nyong iligaw ang participant ninyo sa inyong hypothesis na pinag-aaralan. Okay? Kapag nailigaw nyo sila, therefore, they could not really guess what you are really experimenting about them. Okay? Naiintindihan po? That's the purpose of cover stories. Gumagawa kayo ng mga possible na cover up o kaya naman ng parang you tell them that you are testing a different aspect of the experiment. Okay? Parang binabago nyo kung ano yung pinag-aaralan. Okay? Halimbawa, gusto mo talagang pag-aralan whether stress affects memory. Okay? Ang level ba ng stress ay nakaka-affect sa memory ng isang tao. Okay? Ang cover story mo, pwedeng ang sabihin mo sa mga participant mo, okay, this is about handwriting speed. Okay? I-check lang po namin yung tungkol sa gaano kabilis ang pagsulat ninyo ng mga letters, for example, ng isang passage. Okay, pero hindi nila alam that you're already testing, okay, that you're already inducing stresses to them. Nakukuha po. This is related with the concept of deception. Handa pa si deception. Okay, grabe naman yung gaslighting. Yan na lang ang afford natin na gas ngayon, o gaslight. Charot. Okay. So, yun. Yeah. Okay. So, related po ito with deception. Bakit to related kay deception? Okay? Kasi meron kayong binabago. Meron kayong ina-alter na part ng experiment. Specifically, the true purpose. You are not revealing the true purpose of your research, or you're not revealing the true hypothesis that you are testing. Okay? But then, when it comes to using cover stories, ano ang kasunod nito palagi bago matapos ang experiment? What do you need to do when you use cover stories? Sige nga, anong kailangan yung gawin? Debriefing. Ano, kailangan mag-debrief. Baka iwanan nyo ang participant nyo ng nakahang na, sige nito para kunyari ang topic nyo ay tungkol sa false information. Tapos ang mga pinlas nyo dyang mga screen ay talagang mga false information na Catherine Bernardo, buntis na pala, for example, gano'n. Tapos hindi na kayo nag-debrief, may iwan ng participant nyo ng idea na, ganito pala, buntis na pala sa ganito. So magkakaroon kayo ngayon ng mga false information. So kailangan malinaw sa kanila, bakit nyo ginawa yung experiment, yung cover story na yun. Aldab, nagkabalikan, mga ganyan. Okay, as an Aldab fan, kunyari yung participant nyo, tuwan-tuwa, may pag-share pa sa Twitter o kaya naman sa Instagram, tag nyo pa yung account ni Alden at ni May Mendoza. Hindi nakasira ka pa ngayon ng relationship. Ano po? So, yun. Naiintindihan. Okay? This is about deception and debriefing. Malinaw po tayo sa demand characteristic. Okay. Next one. Okay? We also have experimenter bias. Okay? Kung kanina, okay, it's a problem with your subject. Okay? Problema sa mismong participant ng study ninyo. Na-figure out nila, nalalaman nila kung ano yung hypothesis o purpose ninyo, kaya they behave in that certain way na ina-expect sa study ninyo. Meron ding experimenter bias. Ano naman ito? Sabi dyan, sometimes without meaning to, hindi mo intention, okay? The researchers give small signals that show what answer they are hoping for. Participants often pick up on these signals and respond the way they think the researcher wants. So, ibig sabihin, yung mismong nag-e-experiment, okay, you create biases. Alam niyo yung tipong, for example, you're testing engagement, okay? Tapos, ang ginawa mo is yung sa participant 1, medyo malamya, or dun sa group 1, medyo malamya yung pagkaka-deliver mo ng script ng experiment ninyo. Pero nung group B, which this is where you have the experimental group, doon mo mas ginanahan yung pagsasalita, parang ganadong-ganado kung ibigay yung instruction sa kanila. Kaya ikaw mismo, okay, you're the one delivering the experiment becomes, okay, the bias itself, because becomes the confounding itself. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung expectation mo, okay? It's your expectation, okay, that influences your participants' behavior. Halimbawa nito, yung tono ng boses mo, yung facial expression mo, yung body language mo, okay? Then yung encouragement mo habang ina-administer yung experiment, that could be a potential experimenter bias. Okay? Naiintindihan kung ano ang experimenter bias? Halimbawa, ganito ang ginawa ninyo. Kunyari, tinatanong niyo yung participant ninyo, yung light ba, okay, did the light move faster, slower, or same speed? Okay, pwede mo yung sabihin ng neutral, di ba? Yung kung paano talaga siya sinasabi kapag nagtatanong ka. Did the lights move faster, slower, or the same speed? Okay yon kung neutral yung pagkakasabi mo. Paano kung binibigyan mo ng emphasis yung faster na word? Okay? Kunyari, did the light moves faster? May mga ganon kayong mga tendency kasi nagkakaroon ng hint doon. Okay? Nagkakaroon ng hint doon yung inyong subject na they are testing affecting us in this particular aspect. Naiintindihan po. Okay? Yung faster, kumbaga nare-realize nila na, okay, ang ina-expect na sagot sa amin ng aming experimenter ay kailangan faster ang sagot namin. Nakukuha. Kahit hindi naman faster yung kanilang naging assessment, faster ang isasagot nila. Nakukuha po. Parang pag nagsasalita ang teacher dito, kunyari binabasa niya ang choices sa multiple choice. Di ba ganun kadalasan ang technique ninyo? Okay? Kunyari, nagbigay ang teacher ng, this is common usually with, with junior high school and senior high school. May mga teacher na gano'n. Babasahin yung stem ng question. Ibibigay yung choices. A, ganito. B, ganito. C, alam niyo yung sobrang ganado pag C ang sagot. As kayo naman, C ang sagot. Gina G si ma'am, Gina G si sir sa pagbibigay ng choices. Tama o hindi tama? Okay? Tama. Okay? So, yun po ang meron with experimenter bias. Sabi po dyan, and this doesn't just happen with people, it can also happen with animal studies. For instance, if a researcher believes certain rats are special, they might handle them more gently or give them more attention. Okay? That different treatment could affect how the rats behave or perform. This type of effect is called the Rosenthal effect or yung tinatawag kong Pygmalion effect. Okay? It means that the researcher's expectation can actually influence the outcome of the study even if they don't realize doing it. So, experimenter bias, okay, tinatawag din po siyang Rosenthal or Pygmalion effect. Ang nangyayari dito, si experimenter unintentionally na i-influence niya yung outcome or yung result ng study nila. Nakukuha kung ano experimenter bias. Naintindihan po sa experimenter bias? Okay. So, paano mo i-control ngayon sa experimenter bias? May tinatawag tayo na double blind experiment. Okay? Kung ang single blind experiment, hindi alam ni subject or ni participant kung saang group sila, okay, kasali, si double blind experiment, okay, kaya siya tinawag na double. First one, participants do not know which treatment they receive. So, kagaya ng single blind, hindi alam ni participant sa ang treatment condition kaya kami napa-assign. Kay treatment A, kay treatment B, kay treatment C. Okay? And then, another idea for this one is that even the experimenters, hindi rin nila alam kung anong experiment or level ng experiment ang ginagawa nila. Anong condition ang ina-administer nila as of the moment. Nakukuha. Like, hindi rin nila alam kung sila ba'y nasa treatment A, treatment B, treatment C, control group, or experimental group. Nakukuha. Okay. Malinaw po tayo. Tumaas si Elmo. May question ba? Or napindot lang? Hello?
Napindot lang po, sir.
Okay, napindot lang. Okay, pero malinaw po tayo kay double-blind experiment. Okay? Kasi ito po ang pinaka-importance niya. Nakita niyo po itong nasa baba. The value of the double-blind experiment is this. If the experimenter does not know which treatment the subject is getting, he or she cannot bias the responses in any systematic way. Okay? Hindi dahil sa eagerness mo na magkaroon ng significant effect or ng significant difference, ay parang nagkakaroon ka ng favoritism when it comes to your treatment condition. Okay? Kasi hindi mo alam sinong nakaka-receive ng treatment at sinong control treatment ang nararanasan. Nakukuha. Kung bakit siya double-blind experiment. Naintindihan? Ang pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Ganito lang ang logic dyan para hindi kayo mahirapan. Okay? Demand characteristic or social desirability, okay, that happens in your subject. Okay, that's because of your subject. Nafi-figure out si hypothesis, kaya ang kailangan gawin, single blind experiment. Hindi nila alam kung saang condition sila mapupunta. Okay? Experimenter bias, that starts with your interaction as an experimenter to the group that you are working with. Okay? Nagsisimula siya sa mismong experimenter, yung mismong unintentional bias na meron ng mga experimenter. Ngayon, to address that, kailangan double blind. Ibig sabihin, hindi na alam ni participant kung anong condition sila, at the same time, hindi rin alam ni experimenter anong condition ang ina-administer nila. Nagigets po, social variables. Nakukuha ang social variables. Okay. Next one. Sir, paano po magiging effective yung study if hindi nila alam yung ina-administer nila? Okay. Regarding that question, ang hindi lang naman nila alam is anong condition na. Like, you still have the flow, the script, etc., the same procedure. Ang hindi lang nila alam, anong group na yung pinagbibigyan nila, okay, ng mismong condition na yun. So, alam pa rin nila yung nature, alam pa rin nila yung purpose, okay? Pero ang hindi lang nila alam, sinong group na ba ang ina-administer namin? Yung grupo ba na ganito, na ganyan, or kung anong level ng treatment. Ayun. Nga po, Faith. Elmo.
Sir, possible po ba na pwede po yung mga experimenter mismo ang maglagay po ng yung double blind nga po para din po sa nag-experiment. For example po, halimbawa po nag-experiment po kami sa dalawang same treatment po. Kasi
Okay.
po is, meron pong two variables po ng independent. And then, para po ma-avoid po yung pagiging bias ay, halimbawa po, inilagay po namin mismo sa envelope yung IB number 1, tapos IB number 2. Tapos, sa loob po ng, ng envelope, separate po. Tapos po, i-randomly po namin siya ilalagay sa mga table. Then, possible po, kami din po ay magiging blind about po sa experiment namin.
Okay. Medyo naguluhan ako sa question. Paano? Ba't may envelope?
Hindi, ganito sir, example lang po. Halimbawa po, may dalawa pong independent variable na ikakandak po namin, which is halimbawa po tangible and intangible po. For those sa ibang participant po na makaka-receive ng tangible, nakalagay po yun sa envelope at may secret note po doon na nakanote po na bawal po sabihin sa ibang group na tangible yung ma-receive nila. Tapos dun sa kabilang envelope naman po, nilagay po kami na ang ma-receive po nila ay intangible na reward. Tapos may nakanote din po na secret lamang yung pag-receive nila na yon. So ang gagawin po namin para po ma-avoid po yung pagiging bias ng mga participant po namin is naka-randomly po siya nakalagay sa loob ng envelope and then ipapatong po namin siya sa mga table. So para sa amin po, blind na din po yan.
Yeah, possible. Okay? That's possible. Kasi hindi mo alam kung ano yung marireceive nila na treatment, at the same time, hindi rin alam ni participant kung anong level ng treatment ang marireceive nila. Okay? So yun. Any more question, Joshua?
Sir, edi gagana lang po yung experimenter bias, yung double blind, if ang method of treatment po ay between po.
Between. Kapag isang set lang ng tao pinag-experimentahan mo, pero isang set, tas nararanasan lahat ng treatment. Tama? Tama ba? That's what you're asking.
Sir, yes po.
Okay. I think pwede rin naman siya within subject design or within subject design. Kasi ang tinitingnan naman dito is yung whole process kung paano mo gagawin yung experiment. Okay? Teka. Paano nga ba ito i-explain? Okay, kasi ang pinopoint dito, ganun din yung process eh. Like, syempre, pipili ka ng participant. Okay, you're gonna choose your participant. So, pipili ang researcher, sino ang mga, or ang experimenter, sino ang mga participant ng study niyo or subject, you still do the random assignment. So, may mga participant kayo, hahatiin nyo sila for example sa dalawang grupo, merong mapupunta sa experimental, merong mapupunta sa control group. Okay? Ang idea kasi dito kay double blind experiment, parang meron kayo, kung hindi ako nagkakamali ha, meron kayo dito na parang third party or any third party system or third party how do I explain it? Third party na kasamahan, okay? Kumbaga sila yung naglalagay ng code sa treatment, okay, na i-administer ninyo. Like for example, alam ng isa yung kagrupo kung alin doon ang may treatment at alin doon yung control group lamang. Pero hindi yun alam ng participant ninyo at hindi yun alam ng researcher ninyo. Nakukuha. Kung halimbawa, pwede siyang yung kagaya ng sinabi ni Elmo kanina. Sir, pwede pong ang third party system namin ang pag-identify ng condition na mapupuntahan ng bawat participant ay pwedeng gamit po yung envelope. Okay? So, pwede pong mag-set kami ng mga envelope tapos hindi po alam ng aming participant kung anong treatment yon at hindi din po alam ng experimenter namin kung ano pong treatment condition ang ina-administer niya. Pwede rin namang isang kagrupo ninyo or isa sa mga experimenter yung may alam. Okay? Naiintindihan ba? Okay? So, ibibigay niyo yung treatment based doon sa code or doon sa idea ng third party ninyo na member or third party system na ginamit ninyo. Okay, tapos kapag nakolekta nyo na yung data, saka nyo i-unbox or i-unblind yung nakuhang experiment. Pagsasama-samahin nyo yung response, depende sa kung anong treatment condition ang naranasan nila. Kasi bakit yung kailangan gawin? Simple lang. Kasi nga po, kailangan una, maiwasan yung placebo effect. So, yung placebo effect, yan yung demand characteristic. Okay, ibig sabihin yan yung na-figure out ni participant kung ano yung dapat nilang gawin. And naiiwasan din po doon yung observer bias. So, ibig sabihin, naiiwasan na ma-influensyahan nyo mismo yung inyong participant. Okay? Based sa pagka-administer ninyo ng mismong experiment. Nakukuha po. Okay? Double-blind experiment. Nakukuha? Uy, nagigets nyo pa ba? Okay? May third-party system na ginagamit. Okay? Na siyang magdidikta anong condition ang mapupunta sa inyong experimenter at doon sa participant nila. Malinaw po tayo doon. Double blind. Clear for double blind. Okay, so I think possible siya with between and within subject design. Nakukuha. Nakukuha ba? Okay. Pero upon searching, ano po, mas common. Siguro kaya gano'n na naging tanong ni Mr. Matnog. Okay? Mas common po si double-blind experiment kay between subject design. Okay? Kay between subject design. Okay. Next one. Personality variables. Okay, ano namang meron dito kay personality variables? So, ito naman sa personality variables, your personality and the personality of your participant can influence the experiments. Okay? Your personality and the personality of your participant can influence the experiment. Kaya po yan ay meron tayong tinatawag na experimenters or the experimenter personality at meron po tayong tinatawag na volunteer subjects. Okay? So sa experimenter, so sabi dyan, the experimenter's behavior and personality can affect the results of a study. For example, a warm and friendly researcher may cause participants to feel more comfortable, perform better, talk more, and try harder to please. A cold or distant researcher may get very different responses. Ibig sabihin po nito, ang experimenter kasi may difference yan in terms of your warmth, in terms of your friendliness, yung enthusiasm ninyo, yung strictness ninyo, okay? Yun mismong difference na yun, it can influence your or it can influence the behavior of your participant. Okay? Kasi, halimbawa, ang pinakita nyo doon sa isang grupo, okay, yung una yung participant, ay yung una yung experimenter ay warm, okay, friendly, mas komportable sila. Ngayon, kung halimbawa naman ang pinakita nyo, masyado kayong sick, masyado kayong matapang, masyado kayong mataray, nandun yung anxiousness. Therefore, they would perform worse. And yung performance na yon, that could really affect your experiment or the result of your experiment. Naiintindihan po. Okay? Yung mismong katangian ng experimenter pwedeng may effect sa experiment nyo mismo. Okay? Kaya ang maganda dito, halimbawa, ang nagsasalita for treatment A ay si Mr. Matnog. Okay? Kailangan siya din ang magsasalita for treatment B and for treatment C. Nakukuha. Para at least same, okay? Same ng warmth na pinakita, same ng friendliness na pinakita, okay? Possible yun. Not unless kung ang pinag-aaralan ninyo has something to do with the effects of the personality of the experimenter on the performance of your subject. Yung mismong halimbawa, ang topic ninyo, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, may nag-propose dito about facial cues. Tama? Group, sa section 2, parang ang kanilang tinitingnan doon ay tungkol sa mismong itsura ng nagbibigay ng instruction. Okay? So kung gano'n ang pinapakita niyo, kailangan talagang magkaiba. Okay? Iba yung pinapakita, for example, sa treatment A, yung isa ay magpapakita ng warm, magpapakita ng friendly na tone, and etc. Yung facial expression niya na maayos, ngumingiti. Tapos yung sa isang grupo naman is yung medyo nagtataray, yung medyo umiirap and for example, medyo mataas ang boses or medyo strict ang pananalita. Kung gano'n ang study ninyo, okay, kailangan talaga. Okay? Pero as much as possible, kung ang study ninyo ay hindi tungkol sa personality, okay, or hindi yung kagaya ng example ko na facial cues, kailangan po even the variables or the personality variables na meron ng experimenter ay kontrolado. Okay? Nakukuha. Nagigets po. Naiintindihan. Okay. Next one is yung tinatawag natin na volunteer subject. So ito naman yung differences ng inyong participants. Okay? Yung differences na meron mismo sa mga subject ninyo. Sabi po dito, researchers don't worry about participants' personality differences the same way they worry about experimenters' personality. That's because they use random assignment, which spreads different types of people evenly across all groups. This helps prevent subject differences from affecting the result. As long as enough participants are randomly assigned, individual differences are usually controlled. However, there is another concern: whether the people in the study truly represent the general population. Okay? Kasi meron po tayong tinatawag ng mga volunteer bias. Sabi nga po dyan sa example, people who volunteer for experiments often score higher on intelligence tests than non-volunteers. So bakit ganun po, Sir Joshua? Halimbawa, hindi kayo gumamit ng random assignment. You just use someone from the class who really wanted to participate in the class. Ibig sabihin, prior to the experiment, nandun na po agad yung willingness nila to join. Okay? Nandun na yung drive nila to participate. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, it's because they are willing, okay? They have that eagerness to join or to participate in your study, nandun yung possibility na magkaroon siya ng mas magandang performance as compared to those people na hindi nag-volunteer sa study ninyo. Okay? Kaya po, it is a requirement that you do random assignment. Nakukuha. Kailangan meron kayong tinatawag na random assignment. So, ibig sabihin, randomly, by chance po, ang participant niyo to either take your treatment A or your treatment B. Or pwede siyang mapunta sa treatment A, treatment B, or treatment C. Kumbaga, wala siyang choice na mamili kung aling treatment ang kanya pong ititake. Nakukuha for personality, for volunteer subject. Okay, malinaw po tayo dyan for volunteer subject. Isa pa dito sa halimbawa nito, sir, kasi may times naman, pwede kaming mag-administer talaga ng mga ng random assignment. Okay, kasi required naman po talaga siya based sa dinidiscuss nyo sa amin. Pero sino dito yung natanong ko na, paano halimbawa yung kanilang preferred music taste at the beginning? Okay? O kaya naman yung idea na nag-propose dito tungkol sa English grammar. Ang tanong ko paano yung prior nilang level ng grammar efficiency? Sino yung ganun dito yung pinropose noon? Yun yung naging tanong ko. Okay, sino dito yung ganun yung naging tanong ko before? Parang kina Jolina yata itong may ganon English grammar. Okay? Kasi that could be a potential thing related with personality variables. Yung prior idea na nila or yung prior status nila regarding dun sa variable na inyo pong pinag-aaralan. Okay, kagaya nga nung sabi ko, parang grammar detection. Parang ang tinanong ko sa kanila ay, paano yun? Paano yung level ng similarity ng grammar efficiency ng bawat participant ninyo? Kasi may possibility na meron dyang participant na initially magaling na talaga sa grammar. Okay? Meron namang dyan na talagang mababa ang level ng grammar efficiency. Paano nyo siya i-address? So kapag ganun po, one thing that you could do is to actually do some preliminary assessment. So ano pag sinabi nating preliminary assessment? Like mag-a-administer kayo sa kanila ng scale. Okay, for example, mag-a-administer nyo sila ng isang test that is measuring grammar efficiency. And then yung magkaka-level lang ng score, sila lang yung yung gagamitin yung participant. Kunyari, lahat lang ng mag-score, sir, ng 30 to 35 points from this exam, sila lang po ang part ng aming experiment. Kasi sila lang po yung magkaka-level ng grammar efficiency. So, ibig sabihin, na-ensure mo agad na ang subject mo, okay, bago mo siya i-assign sa bawat treatment condition ay may pare-parehas na level or current status or prior status to the variables that you are studying. Nakukuha po, volunteer subject. Halina tayo kay volunteer subject. Hello. Okay. Last one, context variable. So, ito na. So, yon. Related din dun sa example ko kanina. Ito naman si context variables, these are factors that come from setting or situation where the research takes place. They're not part of what's being tested, but they can still affect the result. So, ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina na paano nyo pinipili yung participant ninyo, paano nyo sila nilalagay sa grupo, okay? That's part of context variables. So when we say context variables, this is something to do with the setting and the procedure of your research. Saan gagawin yung research at kailan gagawin yung research and paano nyo pinipili yung magte-take part sa research ninyo. Okay? Malinaw po tayo with context variables. Okay. So, ito yung isang bagay when it comes to context variables. The first thing, we have when the subject select the experiment. Okay? So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, kailangan meron po tayong tinatawag na random assignment. Okay? Random assignment, kailangan po may equal chances ang inyong participant, okay, to be part of any of your condition. Hindi po pwede na sila ang mamili ng experiment na inyo pong na kanila pong ititake. Kasi that would create sample bias. Okay? And the other one naman, kabaliktaran naman, when the experiment selects the subject. Hindi rin pwede na kayo ang maglalagay kung saang experiment sila mapupunta. Nakukuha. Okay? Hindi sila pwedeng mamili at hindi pwedeng kayo ang mamili para sa kanila. So, ano ang sagot para sa context variable? Simple lang po. Random assignment. Nakukuha. Naiintindihan po ito. Okay, malinaw tayo kay context variable. Okay, I think that ends the presentation. Do you have any question? Okay, malinaw po tayo. Wrap up lang tayo ng ating diniscuss. Ganito lang siya. May 4 types ng variables. Ano yon? First one is physical variables. Any tangible, extraneous variables that affects the result of your experiment. So, lahat ng pwedeng physical na bagay na meron sa mismong environment kung saan mo i-conduct ang research, that's part of physical variables. Okay? And then, anong paraan para makontrol nyo siya? First one, eliminate. Remove. Tanggalin lahat ng extraneous variable na posible na makaapekto sa inyong study. However, sabi ko sa inyo, it's ideal way of controlling physical variable. Kasi may variables na nandyan na talaga. So, anong gagawin niyo kapag nandyan na? Make it constant. Ang tawag doon, constancy of condition. Okay? Ngayon, sir, if it's not possible to eliminate, o kaya naman gawing constant ang condition for all groups, anong gagawin? Balance. Pag sinabi nating balance, fairly distribute to all your condition the different extraneous variable. Kagaya ng example ng Sir Joshua kanina. Okay? So, sa room A, kung may tahimik doon, parehas mong ilagay, 10 participant mula sa treatment A, 10 from treatment B. Okay? Kung halimbawa naman doon sa isang room na medyo naririnig yung ingay, ganun din. 10 din from treatment A at 10 din from treatment B. Malinaw po tayo kay physical variable. Kakaintindihan kay physical variable. Okay. Next one is social variables. Pag sinabi natin social variable, this is something to do with your social interaction, okay, or the interaction that happens within the experimenter and the subject. Okay? So, may dalawa pong main exchanges variable dito, yung tinatawag natin na demand characteristic and then yung experimenter bias. Si demand characteristic, na-figure out ni participant kung paano, okay, ang ina-expect na behavior ninyo doon sa gagawin ninyo sa study kasi nalalaman nila yung purpose, okay? Kumbaga nagkakaroon sila ng hint, okay, doon sa mismong gustong pag-aralan ng study ninyo. Therefore, to address that, kailangan meron kayong gawin na two ways. Ano po, first one, pwede kayong gumamit ng single blind experiment. Kaya siya tinawag na single kasi po hindi alam ni participant kung anong experiment ang tinitake niya. Okay, kung anong condition ang tinitake niya. Or another thing na pwede nyo gawin is to do cover-up stories. So pag sinabi natin cover-up stories or cover stories, ano po, you make plausible alternatives, ano po, that you would present to your participant okay, para hindi nila ma-figure out kung ano yung hypothesis na gusto nyong i-test. Ano po? So with that being said, kailangan nyo pong gawin ang deception. Okay? You're altering something from your experiment but also make sure you will be doing debriefing. Okay? And experimenter bias naman, this is the unintentional way of influencing, okay, na-influence ni experimenter yung behavior ng participant. Kasi nagkakaroon ng difference, ano po, when it comes to how we treat our two or three different treatment group or yung mga conditions na meron tayo. Okay? So, to address that, kailangan po meron tayong tinatawag na double-blind experiment. So, si double-blind experiment, both the participants and both the researchers has no idea of what condition are they taking, okay? And what condition are the experimenter administering. Okay? So, pagdating dito, meron pong tinatawag na third-party system, okay? Na siyang may alam kung alin doon yung treatment group at alin doon yung inyong control group. Okay? The next one, meron po tayong tinatawag na, ano yung pangatlong variable? Personality variable. Okay? So, sa personality variable naman, this is about the personality differences between your participant and between the experimenter. Kaya meron tayo doon tinatawag na experimenter's personality and volunteer subject. And then the last one is context variable. Context variable, this is something you do with the setting and the procedures that you're doing with your experiment. So dito na ina-assess kung paano nyo pinipili ang mga participant ninyo, okay? Paano nyo siya nilalagay sa mga treatment condition ninyo, okay? So the main answer for you to address this context variable is for you to practice a random assignment wherein your participant has all equal chances to be selected, okay, to any of your treatment condition. Nakukuha po. Malinaw po tayo dito. Malinaw ba? BSP. Okay. My question. So, medyo maiksi lang pala siya. So, 1 hour pala ay kaya naman siya. Okay, again lang po. Tomorrow may class tayo 7 to 10. So, doon na yung mga different types of design. Ano po, baka meron sa inyong gustong mag-factorial. Ano, yung kina-Ira, baka pwede natin i-factorial kasi dalawang IV nyo. Yan. Depende yon sa mga magiging idea ninyo. Okay, kasi marami pala siyang type. Marami pong type ng design. Hindi lang siya between at within. Ano po? Kasi yun yung main. That's the main type of design, the between and the within. Pero meron pa siyang mga controlled experimental, two experimental group design. May mga ganun po akong i-discuss tomorrow para kayo po ay makapag-decide na din anong type ng design ang gagawin or gagamitin ninyo. Okay? Sir, bukas pa rin po ba ipepresent ang video? I guess hindi. Okay? Kung magkaklase ako. So, baka gawin natin siya one time, like kahit siguro ng Friday next week. Okay? Saglit lang naman yun i-present. Okay? Malinaw po. Then, Saturday next week, that would be your long test. Okay? Long test 2 and long test 3. Number of items, 100. Okay? Joke lang sa 100. Joke lang pa si 1. Siguro mga 50 pwede na. 25 yung dalawa. That would do. So, daig pa niya ng prelims. Ginawa mo 100. Hindi po ganun. Malinaw po tayo. Okay? See you again tomorrow. Kung wala nang question, i-dismiss ko na kayo ng maaga. And then, thank you again for allowing me to conduct this meeting. Jerome.
Sir, sa Saturday po, possible po ang FTF or hindi po?
Na-announce ko na kanina. Hindi pa natin sure. Okay? Kasi sabi ay asynchronous daw. Asynchronous daw, di umano. Pero wala pa kaming update pa rin as of the moment. Okay? Pero kung asynchronous yun, di wala akong magagawa. Ang activity nyo sa akin gagawin ay di yung pag-aayos ng inyong mga pag-aayos sa inyong mga topics. Okay? So, yun lang po. Malinaw po sa mangyayari. Yes, Aliana. Yung Saturday na kasunod. Okay, yung mismong schedule natin ng midterm. 'Di ba Friday kayo magbe-midterm? Yung Sabadong klase. Doon ang oral presentation. Okay? Magbibigay ako ng template for that one. Malinaw po. Kaya kailangan na nating matapos ang pag-approve ng topic by next week. Okay? So, pagka-present natin ng inyong mga videos about sampling, itutuloy natin for some groups na kailangan pang i-enhance yung mga topics nila. Okay? Malinaw po. Again,